application. I have added one index file. It's a demo file having only h1 header.
Okay.
Just to show that whether it's running properly or not.
Okay. Got the point. Just a minute. So let's directly go to coding. Okay, so my what will my intention is that I will now show you one entire flow. Okay, how we can invoke a servlet. So I think you actually all are familiar about the concept of servlet, right or wrong?
No, sir, we
Okay,
weren't sure.
servlet is not done, right? Okay. So then I will show you one just small theory. After that, I will start the coding. Okay.
Okay, and one more confirmation from the participants. Can you see the chat box today? Is the chat box visible to every participant today?
No.
No, ma'am.
No.
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 Okay,
No.
No.
okay, got it.
So I am sharing my screen with you. Okay. So so screen is visible to all?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me connect my pen pad. Okay. One minute. Okay. Yeah. So see, so this thing was actually discussed yesterday also. So see, client first send a request, and upon so when the server actually upon receiving the request, the server sends the client a response, right? So all these things were actually explained in the yesterday's class. So just this response may be static or maybe dynamic. See, the page might be has only suppose some stories, or there might be like that I want to calculate the current actual interest rate or something that is actually currently I want to calculate. Okay, if I want to do that kind of task, then it is it is a dynamic task. Okay, so now all these things were actually explained in the yesterday's class, so I am not so see, so how we can generate a content that is actually dynamic content. Okay, so for that, see, after suppose I am using my actual web browser and I hit one page. Okay, so if a client is sending one request and I suppose hit one page, that suppose for example xyz dot something. Okay, so then what happens then? In the server I have one helper application. Okay, and that helper application is called the container, web container. So in this case, see what we already have installed Tomcat, right? So I can also consider Tomcat as the web container. Okay, so similarly to Apache Tomcat, we have Glassfield, we have IBM WebSphere. Okay, so these all are the examples of actually that is the containers. Okay, so this web container actually is responsible for sending us the response. Okay, now let me just give you one just abstract idea. It is this helper dot so to create the content, to create the dynamic content, we should write one Java class. Okay, that Java class is called actually Servlet. Okay, now, but how to know that which Servlet is called? Okay, for that we maintain one XML file which is called web.xml. Okay, yeah? And at the right hand you can see the example of a Servlet code. Okay, now I will just start the theory. Okay, just I will show you the coding. Okay, just I will show you one demo how to create a servlet, and after that thing. Okay, so see, I am creating one project freshly. Okay, it's new dynamic web project. Okay, so suppose the project name is suppose demo project. Okay, demo project. Everything is done. Then this next, so it is also required. I just click this generate web XML deployment descriptor. Okay, my voice is clear to you guys?
Yeah, the voice is clear.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me close all these things.
So one thing, yesterday while creating the project, we didn't check the option for web.xml.
Yeah.
So how do we get it now?
Yeah. So actually, why we will use the web.xml, I will show you. Okay. so it is our demo project. So let's open. So now everything is empty. Okay, everything is empty. So now see, let's create one HTML page first. Okay. Suppose so here I will write this. First, I will just create two input type. Suppose I will create text boxes. Why I am actually using name, etc. All things I will explain. Okay, just now follow what I am doing. Okay.
Hello, this is Shiladutta Munshi. I'm audible.
Yes. Well,
So I'm really sorry I'm late.
okay, so no problem. So we are actually showing them one entire flow. Okay, how we can map a servlet. I am showing the entire flow. Okay.
Okay. Is it the screen of Komulesh?
No,
No.
my screen.
Okay.
Let's just run this. Okay.
No, your screen has not been updated.
So my screen is visible to you guys.
Yeah, the screen is visible and yes, now it is updated.
Okay. So let's see what is coming. Just a minute. I have to stop the server first because I have some old project actually deployed. So first I remove this. So actually, this is actually our actual Eclipse has some inbuilt browser. Okay, so so this browser I will use Chrome instead. Okay. Now
So
see,
guys,
I want yes.
no, so guys, as we showed you yesterday, that from the window tab, you can select the system browser, so that whenever the Tomcat will start, that system browser will open. Okay,
Yes,
we
yes,
showed it
yes.
yesterday.
There's an option. Yeah, yeah. So my target is I will enter two numbers here and I will click submit, and that value I will capture in the that is I will write one sublet, okay, and that values I will capture in the sublet, and I will and I might add that number, okay. Hmm. So let's do it. Okay. So I will keep this entire thing inside a form, okay. So this entire thing is inside. So I have created one form here, and this entire thing is inside the form. Okay. So when I submit the page, that means this form is submitted. Okay, and I will capture the value from that page in the sublet. Okay. So let's create one servlet first. Okay. So servlet is basically simply a Java class. Okay.
Anjan,
Yes.
Anjan, can I just
Yeah.
have
Sure.
5 minutes of your time?
Sure. Sure. Sure.
So, just a minute. Hello, am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
I do not know how an echo is coming. I don't know.
Yes, sir. Somebody has joined with two devices.
Yeah. Okay,
Sir,
now
one
it's fine.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, now it's fine. Okay. So as Anjan sir was saying that he has written everything under this form, and this form tag has an attribute called action. Okay. You have to pay a good amount of attention into this action attribute. And till now, he has not written anything as the action. So action equals to till now it is blank, right? Now, as we were saying last day, that inside the server we have to write some programs. That programs can be written by Python or Java or .NET or PHP whatsoever. But right now, what Sir is showing, he is going to write a program in Java. He is going to write a program in Java that has to be put into the server. So as Sir is saying that, okay, we are going to write a servlet. Servlet means that program which is to be there in the server side. Okay. So what is a servlet? Servlet is nothing but a pure Java class, but that class is not going to run inside the client. Rather, this Java class is going to run within the server environment. That is the difference. Okay, it is just like a Java class, but obviously it has got some complexity. But right now, at this moment, you just think it as a pure Java class, but it is going to run in the server side, not in the client side. That is why, and these programs are going to give you some service, right? This program is going to give you some service, and that is why the name of this sort of classes that run inside the server side are named as servlet. Okay, so they are going to give you some services. Okay, okay, fine.
Okay, can I go continue?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now what we will do, we will create one servlet that is basically a simple Java class. Okay. So I'm creating one. So see, so inside this Java folder, all the Java classes will be saved. But I want to declare, I want to save it in some packages. Okay, because then it looks good. Okay. So suppose I want to add those two numbers. So whatever the numbers I am entering at the front end, I will add those numbers. Okay. So I write one servlet, add servlet. Okay. So it is my class. Suppose. Okay. So now I want to create this under com dot suppose training. Okay. Inside this package, I want to create this. Okay. So let's create this class. See, under training, this servlet, this Java class. Now it is simply a Java class. Okay, it is just created. Okay, now I have to do some extra things to make it a servlet. What is that? This class should extend one interface, that is HTTP server. Let's import this package. Okay. Okay. So now there is a service method. Okay. Everything whatever operation we have to do, we have to write it inside the service method. Okay. That service method is actually wait, this. Okay. Then this. So for now, you just follow what I am doing. Okay. HTTP servlet request. I should pass these parameters here. Okay. One is for request. So actually we are sending some request and we are getting some response, right? For that, these two request and response are handled by two separate objects, right? Okay. Okay. Now see. So see, when I am sending some request. Okay, that request is captured in this object, in this request object. And so you can say that, sir, how it is captured? Actually, our Tomcat environment handles all these things. How it is passed to this, everything is handled by Tomcat. We don't have to worry about that. Okay. So I have to capture two numbers, right? So see, so store it in, suppose, first number. My variable name is first number, suppose. And so from where this number is coming, actually I am sending one request. When I am clicking submit button, then I am sending one request to my server, right? So I will get everything from the request object. Okay, so let me write this, just keep dot. Okay, so here I have a method called get parameter. Request dot get parameter. Okay, now which parameter? See here, I have to capture the value from this text box and this text box. So what is the name of this text box? It is num1, right? So I want to capture this value. So just inside that, now see this value, that is, it is coming as string. Okay, this is coming as string, so I should convert it to integer. So how to convert this? I will write this integer. It is the famous conversion, right? Integer. We actually frequently use this, right? Integer dot parseInt. Then inside that, I am giving the okay. Oh, this is request. Now I have to capture the second number. Okay. Now see, I will just test that whether so I will just now add this. Okay, int suppose sum.
Or it will be num2.
Yeah, num2. Yeah, thank you. So int sum is equal to first number plus second number. Now I will just give here one simple print. Okay, whether it is working or not, I will just check. Okay, so this, up to this coding is done. Okay, now from this, see, from this, so when I will hit submit, then I have to pass the control to my servlet. Okay, okay. For that I should now see, if I now only hit submit, nothing is happening, right? Okay, so for now now we have to do some mapping. Okay, that is this HTML page is mapped to which servlet. How can my container know if I don't mention that? Okay, okay. So for that now have to map this. Okay. So this mapping, there are two processes. That is, where is my pen? Okay, chodo. So see. Okay. So there are two processes. One is I can actually use web.xml. It is actually old style. I will first show this. After that, there is second one. One is annotation base. Okay, annotation. Okay, so see. Okay. Now here, so see, we have inside the web app, inside the web INF, we have a web.xml, right? So there we need to do some mapping here. Okay. Okay. So what are those mapping? Okay. Let me show you all this thing. So see, need to write this. One is servlet. One is servlet. And second one is servlet mapping. Inside this, there we have two things. One is servlet name. Second one is servlet class. Okay, done. And in the servlet mapping, we have again we have servlet name and URL pattern. Okay, these two things we have. Okay. So see, now what is our servlet class? It is our add servlet, right? So add servlet. So here, yeah. So here we need to mention the full path of our servlet. That is, if I write only this add servlet, it will not actually work. So I need to mention the full package. Okay. So home dot training dot add servlet. So I have to mention the full package here. If I mention only name, then it cannot find, right? Right. So okay, everybody can understand up to this. Any doubt up to this, guys?
Sir, how did you create the web.xml file?
Actually, actually, when we have created the project, then there is an option that is there is an option to create the web.xml.
Yes,
right?
sir. We didn't do that. Now, is it possible to get that file?
Yes. Why not? In the web INF folder, I just create one XML. I think it will also do.
Yeah, under the web INF, you just right click and create one XML file and name it as web.xml, right?
Okay.
And even without doing this also it is possible, but
Yeah.
to understand the entire scenario, you need to understand web.xml.
Yeah, that's the thing. Okay. Now,
Sorry, sir. In the
yes.
in web.xml, we are getting add child or add DTL information. Which one is to be selected for this?
Can you please show your screen, Twinkle? Can
Yes.
you make him so that you can share
Mm,
his screen?
Okay, sir. Just a second. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm attendee, so I can't share my
What's your
screen.
name?
Ritik.
Ritik Mondal.
Ritik,
No,
you are
sir.
already a presenter, but you are a guest.
Okay.
But sir, I created the XML file, but it looks different. It is not like the
Okay,
It's
command.
just
different.
Yes, sir, the XML file is looking different.
yeah, wait for some time. We will discuss.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, can you
We
see
will
my
show
screen?
you. Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
in the
It's
XML file, sir, here in the documents is in empty actually showing, and when I'm right clicking add child or add DTL information.
No. Just a minute.
now.
Just a minute. Just a minute. You
Actually,
just
yeah.
you just cross that web.xml for now. You just close it,
Okay, sir.
and go to the web XML file from the folder structure. You expand that test web. Expand that test web.
Done.
Yeah. Now, where is your web app?
SRC, SRC, expand SRC.
Expand SRC.
SRC. Yes.
Yeah.
Expand it.
Now, yeah.
Expand
Go to
web
web
INF.
INF. Go to web INF.
No. Just expand web INF first. Web INF.
Web
Expand
INF.
the web INF. Yeah.
Yes, I am in web INF, sir.
Yeah.
But where is your web.xml? It
Yes.
is not there.
No, basically he has not created during the project creation. That's why the initial configuration needs to be managed manually.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
But can we don't we have any option to create it externally if we just click it up, but that is can we
Now
Yes, sir, we
here,
can.
here
But
the
it is
problem is as you are using annotation, you have chosen probably Servlet version API version 3.1 or 4.0. So by default, when you have created the project, at that time by default, instead of web.xml, it is being managed by annotation. Okay. So if you want to still, if you need web.xml file, then in web.xml file needs to be managed manually. Okay, here you have to right click on web INF, then you have to create the web.xml file.
yes.
Okay, let me show you. Just I'm sharing my screen little bit. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
One thing, sir, in the test.sublet, sir, the sublet class I have imported, but it's not working, sir, giving some error.
Yeah, just I'm giving you just I'm sharing my screen little bit.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Okay.
sir, just I'm taking 5
Yeah,
minutes.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. Probably you are facing this type of error. I think my screen is visible to you. Okay. So I'm just I have added one thing. I'm going to delete it. So at the very beginning, in the last yesterday, we have created this project, test web app. Within this project, we have created. You can recall that we have created only one tag, that hello world. So if we run this application, it will show this landing page where hello world will be printed. Okay. Now here, if I click I'm going to create my first sublet. Okay, so using editor, if you create it, you will get huge help from this editor. So here I'm just right clicking on my project, then I'm going to sublet. Okay, I'm in JE perspective, so I will get this option sublet. If in your screen, if you are not getting sublet option from new, then go to other and then select sublet. Okay, so if I, as it is visible here, so I'm clicking on sublet. Now this is Java project. So those who are new, so just try to understand that the package means it's a folder structure. Okay, in Windows platform it's a folder structure, in Linux we say directory structure. Okay, so I will use the convention just for understanding. I'm writing, it's our college is tint.edu.in, so I'm writing in.edu.tint.cc coding club. Okay, this is the package. So package, just those who are familiar with package, it's fine. If you are not familiar with package name, then just remember that this is the folder structure. So it will create a folder hierarchy or directory hierarchy on your system where this file will be kept. So now I'm creating a sublet. Say my sublet name is my first serve. So my first serve or sublet, my first sublet. This is the name of my Java class I'm going to create. I'm going to create sublet. So by default, as you can see that you have just noticed that sir has extended HTTP sublet class. Okay, and sir has imported it. So here Java sublet HTTP by default, as it is being created as a sublet. So this editor will help us. We don't need to write the code. So just by default it is showing that the super class is this. So automatically if I just click on next and finish, then automatically the sublet class will be created for me. Okay, otherwise you can type it. It will take some time. As a beginner you should type it, but as we have very short time for this training program, that's why I'm just skipping that part. So I'm using the help of the editor IDE. Okay, so here I have created this sublet. Now by default I have not checked or unchecked anything on this panel. By default two things is selected. One is do post, another one is do get. I'm not doing any changes, just I will keep as it is. Later on we will discuss. Sir has started discussing the part, so sir will discuss. Okay, so here I'm just clicking on finish. Now after clicking finish, probably you are getting some error. Okay, so this is the error. Your project is marked with red color that the project there is an error. You have to resolve the problem. Okay, so what we have to do? So if you are at this stage, then our option is one jar file is missing. Jar is basically Java archive. Okay, it's nothing but the zip file. You are familiar with zip file. You have downloaded lots of zip file from internet and you can just extract it. Similarly, if we enclose multiple Java class files, then we enclose it as a Java zip. So it's a Java archive. Okay, so this jar file where this sublet class is available, so we have to use it in this project. So we have to link it. Now I'm going to Tomcat. Okay, so we have already downloaded and integrated this Tomcat with our project. So I'm going to that section. So here I have downloaded and this Tomcat 10.0.6. So I will go to lib. This is lib is basically the directory where library files are kept. So library means jar files. Okay, Java archive files, this jar file. So from this lib directory, I have to copy one jar file. This jar file is sublet api.jar. So I'm going to copy this sublet api.jar file. Okay, after copying it, so where you will get it? In Tomcat, there is a lib directory. Within this lib directory, you will get sublet api.jar. Now after copying this jar file, go to your Eclipse project. Just under web-inf, if you expand it, there is a lib directory. So this is the library directory where library files are kept for this project. So in this project, if you need multiple library files. So these libraries will be added in lib directory. So I'm going to add it here. I have just pasted it here. So now this sublet API jar is linked with my project. Okay, just wait for some time. The project is being validated in status bar. So after this validation, this error will be gone. Okay, so because the error is appearing, the reason is it is searching. In this project we are using sublet Java sublet classes. So some classes which is required in this sublet, these classes are not being linked. Okay, yeah, let me refresh this project. The error still exists.
I think you can also once clean the project.
Yeah, okay, let me check.
Sir, my errors are gone in this also. It's
Yeah,
resolved.
yeah, it will be resolved. So Java,
This way it should go.
it should go, but in my system probably for some reason that is showing.
Can you please start
You
once
can
I
Yeah,
think
so you can add the library by going to the properties of the project.
yeah, just a minute. Not failed. Okay, I will check. It should go,
So you
but
can
okay,
add
okay,
it
okay.
by going to the properties.
Yes.
yeah,
Kamalesh, what I feel, your Java version and your Eclipse version, they are not matching. Or the Tomcat version.
yeah, it is getting some problem with Tomcat.
The Tomcat version is not matching. You can downgrade to Tomcat 9. This will be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, so
Okay,
so
I'm
let,
stopping my.
yeah. So
Okay.
let me conglomerate these two ideas. I mean, see, Onyon sir has shown you one way of creating a servlet. What he has done essentially that he created a class first, then he extended that class explicitly, right, and created one servlet. And what Komolesh did, what he did, he essentially started with creating it as a servlet only, right? So he did not actually extended it manually. Rather, he took the help of the ID itself and created the servlet. And once you are creating the servlet from the editor, you are going to get two methods. One is do get and the other one is do post. But as Onion sir started with from the class and then he manually went up to a sublet, so that is why he didn't get the do get and do post explicitly, right? So he started with a service method. So see, the service method or do get method or do post method, whatever these methods are, but these methods are coming from the servlet package of Java. Okay, so the servlet package is there. It is not written by us. This servlet package has been written by somebody else. We are just using that package, and whatever you are writing, whether it is a do get or do post as Komolas has written, or as service what Anjan sir has written, they all are coming from the basic skeleton of the servlet package and HTTP servlet package. They are not written by us. We are just going to use it. Okay. So Anjan, you can carry on.
Okay. Okay. So I am sharing my screen. So the screen is visible.
Not right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody from you was telling that you forgot to create the web.xml, right? So you can also do this in this way. So you just click on the project and you do the right click. After that, there's an option called Java EE tools. Okay. So in that tool, I think that's the second option, that is generate deployment descriptor start. So if you click it, then I think that that XML file actually will be created. So you please check once, okay? Actually, as far I can remember, I have actually forgot many things about the tool, but as far I can remember, you can actually in this way you can generate the XML also. Okay. So now see, in the servlet mapping, I have to give some URL pattern. Now what is this? Go back to the HTML file. Okay. There I will mention one thing. That is, suppose I mention here add. Okay. Okay. Now just inside the action tag, okay, I am mentioning this add. Okay. Now in the web.xml, I go to the web.xml and there I will just give here /add. Okay. Okay. And I have to
So
give,
there
yes.
is a problem with the XML file. I mean, it looks different, does not look like the one you are showing.
No,
So it is difficult to continue.
by just by this process that is by using
No,
by
no,
using this
I recreated the project again. I enabled the web.xml, but now also it's the same thing.
so just
Share your screen.
okay,
Yes,
একবার
yes.
দেখি টুইঙ্গা শেয়ার কর।
That's excellent. Sir, will you please stop sharing?
Yeah,
Or
sure.
is my screen? Sir, there is a problem with my Teams. I cannot open my screen. Anybody else who is facing the same problem? I think many people.
Yes, sir. I'm also feeling
Yeah,
same
please
problem.
share the screen.
Make me the presenter. I'm sharing this.
Shrinjoy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So actually, have you done that process that I have just shown?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir. I have
Okay.
actually done the deployment descriptor process and it works, sir. The web development actually, the web.xml actually opens in the way you have shown.
Okay. That's fine. That's great. Okay.
Okay,
So
it is a very pretty issue. Let me
yeah,
handle it. You just show it.
yeah.
Yes, Shrinjoy, now you can share.
You have to right click and you have to open it as a text file. That's all.
Sir,
You just
it's showing
you
like
just
this.
Yeah,
no. Just a minute. Just a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Anjan,
yes.
hold on.
Yes.
So you just close this web.xml for once. Close it.
Yes.
Right click on web.xml. Open with. Go to open with. Go and text editor. Yeah. Yeah, this is same.
ঠিকই আছে তো, it's okay তো।
It's okay.
Okay, sir.
You have to open it as a text with a text editor, nothing else.
Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so my screen is visible to you guys?
Not right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just a minute. Okay, so see, now I have to use one sublet name. Okay, so I will just give the name as addition. Okay, addition, and here also I will give the name as addition. Same name I have to mention here. Why I am saying, see, I am mapping this. There might be many servlets in my system, like that, like the add servlet. I may have many servlet, like squash servlet, like calculate servlet. Okay, many servlets I may have in my system. Okay, now to map this URL with this servlet, I should have a name. That is, this block is mapping with this block. Okay, for that I am giving this servlet name same. Okay, okay, so how, so that my container can actually identify that this is mapping with this. Okay, is clear to all? Up to this clear to all? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. So our task is done, I think. Let me check if, okay, yeah. So see, now what I will do, I will just start this server once, because this, if you change something in this XML or web.xml, okay, then you should start the servers once again. Okay, okay, so now let's demo app na issue ছিল localhost demo project, yeah. So now see, suppose I am giving here 5, I'm giving here suppose 6. Okay, and I hit submit. So let's check. See, in the servlet I have this printf line, right? Okay, and see, this result is actually 11. Okay, so that means my, whenever I am submitting, this control is coming to this subnet. Okay, and it is entering in the service method. Okay, so what is the entire flow? Entire flow is, first I am creating this HTML file. There, whatever the fields we want to add, I have to add that. Okay, now in the tag, in the form action, in the action, what I have to do, I have to mention this name. Okay, now after that I create this servlet. Okay, and then I go to the web.xml, and there I do the entire mapping. Okay, so that is for which URL I am going to which subnet. Okay, in this way the entire flow happens. Okay, so anybody has any problem in actually understanding this flow? Guys, please tell me.
Sir, can you please repeat the flow once again?
With the flow, right? That is okay. See, now see, in the HTML5. Okay, so inside this action tag I am mentioning this name. That is this name I will actually use in the web.xml. Okay, there I have this, one is servlet mapping. In this servlet tag I am mentioning the servlet class, that is which class should be invoked. Okay, and in the URL pattern, I am mentioning that string. It is whatever I am mentioning the action tag add. Okay, yeah. So in this I am mentioning /add. Okay. Now when that page is hit, when then this by this URL pattern, this page will be mapped, and by this name, that sublet is actually mapped with this URL pattern. Okay, that is, if I hit that page and if I submit that form, then actually the control will go to this sublet. Okay, understood?
Sir, can you explain once how this program is getting the values from the web page?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, see, when I am submitting, then when I am submitting the form, when I am submitting this, then I am sending one request, right? So this request is actually goes like a request object. Okay, so whatever value I want to get from the request, so I have to access that from the request object. Okay, yeah. So now see, here I have this request object. Okay, HTTP servlet request class, and for that this is the request object. Okay, now how this is coming, etc., we don't have to think about that. It is the responsibility of our container. Okay, so now see, from here I am mentioning request.get parameter method, and there I am mentioning the name num1. What is num1? Num1 is mentioned here. That means this text box, whatever the value I give inside this text box, it will be captured here. It will be captured by this. Okay, and similarly for the second text box, that is num2, it will be captured here. Okay, now these values are actually coming as string, right? Okay, see, this method is string. After that is it is this get parameter method is giving a string. Okay, but I want to get it as integer. Okay, so for that I have to type, I have to convert it to integer. So how I can convert? I have this method integer dot parseInt, and then in between it I have to mention it. So then this string is converted to a integer number, and it's stored in this. Okay. Similarly for the second number also I am doing the same thing, and then I am just simply adding this, and I am showing this, and then in the console it is showing that. Okay. So clear now, or in doubt till?
No, sir.
Anjan,
Yes.
Anjan, could you
Yes.
give me 10 or 15 minutes to?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, Anjan, can you please stop sharing
Yeah.
your screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Anjan sir has shown you the complete cycle of how from one HTML page you can carry the information up to the server. Okay. Now let me show you something. Yesterday we talked about, right? Yesterday we talked about the clients. They are making a request. The requests are flowing. The request is going to the servlet. Then we said that okay, somebody have to register some program. Then I said okay, the web server has to fill the request, and it has to find out which service has been requested for. So everything can be understood by this little program. Okay, so let me tell you how. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. I hope you will be able to view my screen right now. Do you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So so I'm using Ziteboard. So give me 1 minute of time so that I can have a clean board. Yeah, fine. So what was the structure? The structure was like this. There is a client, there is one internet, and in the other side of the internet we have a server. Now what we are doing here is basically the server is in your machine and the client is also in your machine. That you have to understand. We are not using any external server here. What we have done, we have used the local host as the server. Means our laptop or our desktop, it is acting as both client and the server. First, make it very clear. Otherwise, it is very irritating to understand how everything is going, because where is the server? The server is within your machine. Where is the client? Client is also within your machine. Is it okay? Okay. Now, whatever you are writing in the web app part, so in the folder structure, in the Eclipse ID, you are writing something in the web app part. In the web app part, you have what sir has written. It is index.html, where he has inserted one form. Is it right? So whatever he writes in the web app part, that are to be deployed in the client. So that means that are to run in the client side. So whatever we will write in the web app part or in the web part, those who are using the downgraded version of Eclipse, in the downgraded version we will have web. So what you write under this web folder, that will run in the client side. Okay. And whatever you write as Java, okay, that will run in the server side. Please make it very clear. Okay. Now, what Sir has done, Sir has written one index.html file, right? So this is index.html file. Okay. Now, once the web.xml, okay, so can you Onion, can you please show your web.xml file for once? Can you show the web.xml file for once?
Yes.
See, if you understand this, then you will have no problem in writing any servlet in your life. Okay, see this. This is one web.xml file. So web.xml, what does it do? It is actually a deployment descriptor. Deployment descriptor means whenever your application would be deployed in the server, okay, so that server will act as per this descriptor. So that means you are describing something in this file, you are describing something, and your server will act or your server will behave as per the description which is written in the web.xml file. Okay. Now just check. There is one tag which is known as welcome file list. Okay. So in the welcome file list, there is one welcome file index.html. What does this mean? This says to the web server, that if somebody is requesting this application, you please return index.html as a response. See this. Yesterday, last night, I said that whenever programmers are writing something, some codes, they have to register it within the web server. Do you remember? I said it. And this is how you are registering. You are saying you are registering to the server. You are saying to the Tomcat that if somebody asks for this application, you just return index.html or index.htm or index.jsp or default.html or default.htm or default.jsp, whichever is there, you please send it back to the client as HTML as response. Okay, this is how a programmer is actually registering this information with the web server. Is it understood? Is it understood? I think,
Yes, sir.
say yes or no. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
now whenever we are running this application, so you must understand that this, I said that whatever you write under the web app, that means see the folder structure in the left hand side. Index.html is written in the web app side. So I said whatever you write in the web app part, they will run in the client side. But I have never said that they will be stored in the client side, right? So suppose who is going to write this file? This index.html file has to be written by the developer. And how come a developer know where is your client? So it is not possible for him to deploy this index.html file in by coming into your home and deploying it into the your client. No, it is not possible. So he will save it in the server side only. So whenever somebody is writing that http localhost :8080 slash the project name demo project, that means he is making a request to the server that, hey server, I want, suppose whenever so let me show my screen, just a minute. Yeah, so is it visible? Is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so from client, whenever somebody says that http, okay, then blah 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 localhost 80 and then project name, that means this request is saying that I want to use whatever you have in the welcome file list. Okay, so these requests through the internet will go to the Tomcat. Now the programmer has already registered this information with the Tomcat, that if somebody is asking for the application for the very first time, please return the index.html file. So now this request is being caught by the Tomcat. Now Tomcat fills up this request and finds that, okay, this is only asking for this application. That means I want to check the web.xml which is there with me. I need to check. The Tomcat is thinking that, okay, I need to check my deployment descriptor. Let's see what is written over there. So it goes to the web.xml and sees in the description, in the welcome file list, it is mentioned that I have to send either index.html or index.html or index.jsp or index default.html. So now the Tomcat searches in its file structure and finds that, okay, I have one index.html. So I need to return it back. So it, suppose there in this memory location, index.html is stored. So it goes to the index.html, picks it up and sends it back as the response. So your index.html comes to your client. Okay, so this index.html comes back to your client. Now once it has come back to your client like this, just a minute, like this, now your browser is smart enough, right? Your browser opens it up and you can see that HTML file. That HTML file is not appearing from the client side. It is not there. That HTML file is actually coming from the server side, and your browser, it is coming as this, coming from the server side as a response. And in the client side, your browser is just rendering it, and you can see that those form where Sir had written that enter first number, then a text box, then BR, you come down to the next line, enter the second number, another text box, and then a submit button that you can view. But that view is not coming from your machine. It is coming from the server side. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now the thing is that Now, once you see the form, now you put 5 in the first place and you put 6 in the second place, right? And once you put 5 and 6 and then hit enter, let's see actually what happens. Okay, Anjan, can you please share your screen right now and just run it for once? Anjan, am I audible to you? Can you please share your screen and run it for once?
Yeah, sure. So my screen is visible to
Yeah,
you?
yeah, it is visible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You please run. See, just stop there. Stop there.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop there. So see what Sir has requested. Sir has requested localhost :8080/demo project, and he is, I mean, the Tomcat is returning back the index.html, and that is why we can see this at the client side. Okay. Now, as a client, now as a user, I'm going to put some numbers. So please put 5 and 6 over there and hit submit. Okay, Sir has given 4 and 6 and he is hitting submit.
Yeah.
Okay, now check what is, look at the URL. Don't go anywhere. No.
Yes.
You please stay there.
Yes.
Now see what the request is going to the server side. The request that is going to the server side, it says that, okay, localhost 8080, that means, hey, hello server, you have a demo project application, and inside that application, I am trying to access a resource which is at URL add, which is placed at the URL add. Now, how this add is generated? Because in the form, please go to the form only for once. In the form itself, what Sir has done, Sir has written form action add. In the line number 8, Sir has written form action add. That means in the action, whatever you write, it acts like a URL. Okay, so instead of writing this add, if Sir has written Sachin Tendulkar, then in the URL you could have seen Sachin Tendulkar. Now, as Sir has written add, so you are seeing add over there. Okay, so this is the URL. So this URL would be hit. Okay, so Anjan, please go to that HTML page once again.
Pardon?
Please go to that HTML file once again. Yeah. So you see the add. So that means the request is saying that, okay, hello, he's saying hello localhost 8080. That means he is saying hello Tomcat, you have a demo project, and inside that project there must be a resource which is located at URL add. Now it is putting a interrogation mark. Now this interrogation mark is actually a delimiter. So it says whatever comes after this interrogation marks, they are the information regarding my request. It says, once again I'm saying, it says that hello localhost 8080 Tomcat, you must have an application demo project within you, and within that demo project application there must be a resource which is there at URL add. And now I am saying what information I am carrying with. So whatever information that the request is carrying with, they come after that interrogation mark. Okay, so what are the information that the request is carrying right now? This is num1 equals to 4 and num2 equals to 6. In any case, if you had 3 numbers, then it would be like num1 equals to 4 and num2 equals to 6 and num3 equals to 8 or somewhere. Okay, so how this num1 and num2 are coming? So please go to the form once again, Anjan.
Yes.
Sorry, Anjan, I'm putting you in trouble.
No, Iki. No.
Okay, so so here you can see that in the form what Sir has designed, so he has given the name of the text field as num1. He has given the name of the second text field as num2. Instead of writing num1, num2, if Sir had written tint and tic, then in the URL itself, you could have seen after the interrogation mark, tint equals to 4 and tic equals to 6. You are getting num1 equals to 4 and num1 equals to 6 because you have designed it in such a way. Okay, so can you go to the HTML once again?
Yeah, sure.
So that is how, I mean, now do you understand what the information are being, how the information are being passed from the client side to the server side? So this is the request, and this request is actually captured, or this request is actually represented by an object called HTTP servlet request in the server side. So I'll come to that, but this is the, I mean, this is the URL structure. I mean, this is the request structure. This is the HTTP request structure. HTTP request structure says that, okay, web server, then slash, then the application name, slash the URL you want to hit, okay, then an interrogation mark. That means now whatever will come, they are the information that the request is carrying with. So these are called parameters. So the information that are being sent with the request are known as parameters. Okay. So after the interrogation marks, what you will have, parameter name equals to parameter value, then ampersand, then once again parameter name equals to parameter value, then another ampersand, parameter name equals to parameter value. So here we had only two parameters. We had two information to be passed. So that is why we had two parameters. So num1 is the parameter name, and the parameter value was 4. Then an ampersand sign. Onion, can you please stay back with that HTML?
Yes, sure. Yeah.
So this num1 is the parameter name equals to 4. 4 is the parameter value. Then once again, and the second parameter comes. Num2 is the name of the second parameter, and 6 is the value of the second parameter. Okay. So num1 and num2 are the parameters, parameter names, and 4 and 6 are the parameter values. Okay. Now that request goes to the server side through internet. And now let us check what Tomcat does. Okay, can you go to the deployment descriptor once again?
Yeah.
Okay, so now when the request comes, now Tomcat cannot act by his own, right? The Tomcat says, okay, I have got one request, and this request is saying that there must be some resource at a particular URL which is known as add. Okay, so now Tomcat will check up its deployment descriptor, because now the Tomcat has to work. Now the Tomcat has to decide. Now the Tomcat has to act. But by default, it cannot act. So he needs the support from the deployment descriptor or web.xml file. So now the Tomcat will start checking the servlet mapping tags. And it will check that, okay, inside the web.xml, is there any servlet mapping tag which has an URL pattern /add, because add is coming as the URL pattern. So is there any /add URL pattern in servlet mapping? And it finds there at line number 20, right? It finds at line number 20. Now, once it finds it out at line number 20, that means now Tomcat is sure that actually he has this URL. Now, if this part, now it says, okay, I have discovered the URL and now I'm sure that the URL is with me. Okay, now let me check what is that resource which is associated with this URL. So now it will check, okay, let's see what is the servlet name that is mapped with this URL pattern. So it goes to the line number 19, that means the associated servlet name. So it finds that, okay, the servlet name is addition. Okay, so now at this point, Apache Tomcat knows that, okay, he has a URL pattern called add, and it is mapped with the servlet name addition. Up to this point, it knows this. Now, the Tomcat tries to find out a servlet tag where the servlet name is addition. It will check within its web.xml file and it will discover at line number 14 that yes, it has a servlet name addition in within a servlet tag. So now it is sure that there is something, some resource which is mapped with the name addition, which in turn is mapped with a URL pattern add, which is actually same as that of incoming request. So now as it has found out the servlet name at line number 14, so it now discovers, okay, let's check what is the associated servlet class. So it finds out that, okay, the servlet class is com.training.addServlet. So suppose, so within its own memory, suppose that add servlet com.training.add servlet is there. So he goes to that memory address and loads this add servlet class into its primary memory and it starts running. Okay, and it starts running. Now, whenever it starts running, so Anjan, can you go to this add servlet.java?
Sure.
So whenever it starts running, the service method first is being called. Okay, so the service method, once it is being called, then it expects two things, right? As it is mentioned in line number 8, it expects two things. One is HTTP servlet request, and the other one is HTTP servlet response REST. So what is this REQ request? It is an object of type, or it is an object of type HTTP servlet request, and this type actually represents the physical request that is coming through the internet. And this, what is this RES? This RES, it actually represents the HTTP servlet response that has to be returned back to the client. That has to be returned back to the client. Okay. Now, SAR has not done anything with the response. Obviously, we will do, but right now, let us understand the request first. So, the object request will come to the service method. And now, within the request, we know that there are some parameters, right? The parameters are written after that interrogation mark. So it says that request, please get me the parameter whose name is number 1. So this method, that means it is mentioned request.get parameter number 1. That means you are asking that, hey, request object, give me the value which is associated with a parameter whose name is number 1. And this actually, this method gives you, it gives you, can anybody please mute your mic? Hello, can anybody, Raisa Alam, can you please stop, mute your mic? Thank you. Yeah, so so this get parameter method, it gives you the value of the parameter that is being passed with this name. So with this num1, what is being thrown? 4. So 4 as a string, it comes back to us. So now this string 4 is converted to the integer 4 and it is stored in first number. Okay. Now similarly, when you type request.getParameter num2, that means you are asking that hello request object, give me the value which is associated with the parameter whose name is number 2. So what was it? In the request, what was it? It was 6. So 6 will come as the string, then that string 6 will be converted to the integer 6 and it will be stored in int second number. Okay. Then what sir has done? Sir has added these two number 4 and 6 and printed out that result. That means the sum equals to 10. So this 10 will be printed. Now the question is where it will be printed? Where this program is running? Is this program running in your machine? No. This program is actually running in the server side, and incidentally or luckily or unluckily right now that server is within your machine. But if that server is not within your machine, if in case we were using some external server, then you could not have seen the result, because that result will be printed into the console of that particular server. So that is why we can see the result is 10 in the console of the server, and we could see from our machine, because luckily or unluckily or incidentally or accidentally right now the server is running within my machine. That is why I can see this. But in case we are using some external server, then I could not have seen it. Is it fine till now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I
Okay.
have one
Yeah.
question to ask.
Yeah.
So when the client invokes the local host and it asks
Yes.
for the demo project that is inside it, so the
Yeah.
index.html file is the default file that would be sent all the time to the client.
Yes, either index.html. So I mean whatever you will fix in the welcome file list, that will be returned. If you say that in the welcome file list, if you say that you have to return india.html, it will return india.html.
Okay, sir. So everything that is given in the web.inf file would be returned by
No,
default.
no, web.inf. This is web.xml.
Oh, sir.
Okay, so till now it feels good, right? Now now we have missed only one thing till.
Yes.
Yeah. So can I?
So I can
can
continue?
I just?
Yeah.
No, just a minute. Give me
Okay, yeah.
4 or 5 minutes.
Sure.
Okay. See. Yesterday or last night we were saying that okay, we have to register our programs. We used to say, we kept saying yesterday that okay, whenever the programmers will write, they have to register their programs with the Tomcat, with the server. How? Go to that web.xml file once again. Anjan, please go to web.xml.
I can't. Can you please repeat once? I can't hear you.
No, can you please go to web.xml once again?
Okay.
Yeah, so this is how I can register. See this servlet tag and servlet mapping tag. Here I am saying being a developer. Anjan sir has explicitly said that if somebody is asking for a URL add, you please associate that URL pattern with the servlet name addition. And with that servlet name addition, I am mentioning the servlet class as com.training.add servlet. That means Anjan sir has already registered that if somebody is asking for a add service, the com.training.add servlet program should run. And this is how Tomcat knows which program to run for which service. Is it good enough?
Sir,
Yes,
is there any other place where you are mentioning the servlet name?
Yeah, servlet name should be there in the servlet and servlet mapping, because servlet name is acting as a glue.
Yeah, that I understood in the XML file. Anywhere in the at servlet.java file?
In the servlet, see, in the servlet.java, add servlet.java. Are you talking about that
Yes.
Java file? Yeah, go
Yeah.
to there. Please go there. Yeah. It has got nothing to do with this class. I mean, in the add servlet, I mean, the name should be add servlet. You can keep the name, but you can change the name add with anything. He could have written Anjan, no problem. Or he could have written TINT.
It is simply class name.
It is just the name with which you can remind or you can associate one particular sublet. For example, if your name is something else, XYZ, are you changed? No, you are not changed. You are still that person who is right now. But from tomorrow, suppose we all from tomorrow start calling you as XYZ, will you change? No, you are not going to change. So the add servlet will be there as add servlet, but till now we were naming it as add. From now onwards, if Anjan sir wishes, he can name it as India or world or hello world or whatever he feels. But obviously it should be meaningful. You cannot name add servlet with the name minus, right? So it is not meaningful in that. Is it fine enough? Now one thing is still missing here. What is that missing thing? See, we have talked about the request. We have worked with the request object. But here we did not do anything with the response object. What is that? RES, HTTP servlet response, RES. So we have not done anything with the response object. So whatever sir has done, sir has, I yesterday I told you that whenever that program will run, it will generate some output. Yes, it has generated output of 10. But we have till now, we have not thrown it back to the client side. What we did, we have printed it in the server side only. Right? Now, sir will code, or sir will demonstrate how you can, throw it back to the client side.
Yeah.
Okay? And then we will conclude the first session of today. Okay? Then Komoles sir will take the responsibility. He will show some other method of writing the servlet with that do get and do post. Then at the last half an hour, we will see that how these two ways of writing servlet actually be mapped in only one place. Okay, right? So Anjan, can you please demonstrate how you can work with the response?
আচ্ছা আরেকটা জিনিস বলছিলাম, আমি কি এইটা হয়ে যাওয়ার পরে কি অ্যানোটেশনটাকে দেখিয়ে দেবো?
না না, অ্যানোটেশনটা একটু পরে আসবে।
পরে ঠিক আছে,
আগে
ঠিক আছে, ঠিক আছে, ওকে।
Sir, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I have a question that the delimiter after the URL is always question mark, or we can change it, or it depends on other factors.
No. It is always, this is a standard HTTP request model. The request model is, once again, I'm saying it, the request model is that web server followed by the application, followed by the URL, then a interrogation mark, then parameter name equals to parameter value, ampersand parameter name equals to parameter value, ampersand parameter name equals to parameter value, this way.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
And this entire thing is also called query string. Okay, from this add.
What string? Can you please
query string?
Okay,
Query
okay.
string.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Query string. So now see when I actually can I continue now?
Yes, you please demonstrate how to work with the response.
Yeah. See now when I am clicking the submit button, then I can see that this blank page is opening, right? So there is nothing here, right? Actually, see now can you answer? That is how it is. So I am going back to so in this code, in which object I have to I have to work with which object to actually see something on the screen. So it is obviously the response object. Okay. So now let's see how I can do that. Okay. Yeah. So I have one class that is called print writer class. Okay. Print writer. Then I have one object out response res dot get. Okay. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. So now what is this get writer is doing? So let's submit. Okay. Now see here. Okay. Now it is actually throwing some exception. Okay. So I will just do this add throws declaration. I can see that throws IO exception is added. Okay. So this method is actually give some exception. So we should handle that, or I can also throw it out. So now this get writer is actually it is giving us one print writer object, and we are catching it in this out object. Okay. Now this has one method called printnl. Okay. Now let's first check that what is happening. So here what we can write. Somehow my mouse of the laptop is not working. I think it is hanged. So I am actually doing this by my pen. Okay. So that's some problems happening here. So result. Okay. Sorry. Sum. So let's now suppose 4 and 6. Okay. I am submitting this. Okay. Now we can see that in the on the page I can get this result now. Okay. Okay. So what is happening? I am filling the response object here, right? So inside this response object, by using this println method, okay. So I can just see the response as the output, right? Okay. So understood. Understood.
Okay, so guys, can
Yes.
you see, can you spot the difference of these two notions? So previously what Onion sir did, he printed it on the console, right? So system.out.println, that is there in line number 16, it is going to print it in the console itself. Console of what? Console of the server side. Okay. But then what he does, he takes out a print writer object by using the response. So we have a response object, HTTP servlet response, RES. Now the response object has an object of print writer class. See, now the Java thing comes. Do you have that idea that an object or an object can have another object inside? Yes, it is always there. So the response object carries one object of the print writer class, and what is the what is the utility of having the print writer class object? The print writer class, it represents a, what should I say, output stream where you can write. Okay, so print writer class represents an output stream where you can write. So unless and until you are picking up that print writer class object out of the response, okay, you cannot write into the response. So what you have to do, ultimately at line number 15, you have got the result. But now you have to write that result into the response first, then you can throw that response back to the client. So at line number 17, what you are doing, you are actually peeling the response object and getting out the object of the print writer class. So instead of naming out, you can give any name. You can write print writer hello equals to res.getWriter. So that means res.getWriter would give you the object of the print writer class. Now it is up to you. You can take it in the name out, you can take it in a name hello, you can take it in a name tint whatsoever. What Sir has done at line number 17, he has used the name out, right? So out is the object of print writer class. That means out is the place inside the response object where you can write. Okay, now at line number 18, what Sir has done, Sir has actually written that result into that place inside the response. So at line number 17, he has taken out the print writer object, and at line number 18, he has written actually into that print writer object with the method out.println. If instead of using out, if Anjan Sir has used India, then you could have written India.println result equals something. Okay, so now out.println. Out.println means you are actually writing into the response. So once you are done writing, so that response will actually flow back to the client. Previously, in the HTML, we couldn't show anything because we did not write to the output or the print writer object. In the first half, what Sir has done, he stopped at line number 16. So as he stopped at line number 16, that means he has not written anything to the response. So that is why even if the response is thrown back to the client, we could not see anything. But now, what Sir has done, Sir has actually written something into the response object, and this response object has traveled back to the client, and now in the client we have a web browser. So web browser saw that, okay, one response has come and it is a string, it is in a string format. So by default, if string format comes, he just opens up the HTML. So in a HTML file, you could see the result. Instead of sending one string as HTML, he could send many more things. He could send a PDF file. If one PDF file is coming through the response, if a PDF file is coming within a response, then your browser would open up the Acrobat reader. But as right now, the response object is carrying only a string, that is why the web browser is opening up HTML viewer. So in the HTML, you could see that result 10. So this is the basic model of request response. So what you saw right now is how you can create the files that are to be used at the client side. So index.html, but this index.html was saved in the server side. And in the descriptor file, it was said that if somebody is asking for the application for the first time, you please throw that index.html back to the client. So once I'm saying that, okay, hello, Tomcat, I need this application. So index.html is coming back to me in the client side. Now I can see the index.html. Then I'm writing 4 and 6 or 10 or 20 whatsoever, and I'm hitting the enter. So once I'm hitting the enter, a query string is being formed. A HTTP request is being formed. How the structure? The structure is simple. The structure is, once again, there is a web server address, right? Then followed by the application, followed by the URL to hit, then a mark of interrogation, then parameter name equals to parameter value, ampersand parameter name equals to parameter value, then ampersand name parameter name equals to parameter value. The list goes on, and this request is actually it is actually thrown to the server side. Now the Tomcat receives this request, looks up into its web.xml, and accordingly it starts behaving. It first maps what is the servlet name which is being mapped with this URL. He finds something. Now he tries to find out what is the actual servlet class which is being mapped with this servlet name. He finds something, and it is being loaded into the memory. So once it is being loaded into the memory, it starts running. And once it starts running, it actually takes up two objects. One is request object and the other one is response object. Request object actually represents the entire request, and the response object, it represents that something which has to be sent back to the client. So once the request object, it represents a request, HTTP request. Now you can query that, hey request, give me the value which is coming with the parameter num1. You get 4. Then you also ask that, hey request, give me the parameter value which is coming with the parameter whose name is num2. You get 6. You store it in integer num1 and num2, and then you just sum it up, right? Once you sum it up, you have got the result. Now what is your duty? Your duty is to show it back to the client side. Otherwise, the client cannot view the result. Unless and until you are showing that result to the client, unless and until you are throwing that result back to the client has no way to know the result. Client cannot go to the server side and see, okay, what is there written in the console of yours. No, it's not possible, because I do not know the exact place of the server, because I cannot fly to the US and cannot see what is written in the console of the Google. No, it is not possible. So being at the server side, it is your job to get the result, and you have to throw back the result to the client. So what you do, you go to the response object and you ask, hey, give me your printWriter object, that response.getWriter. You use this method, response.getWriter. That is basically you are asking that, hey response, give me where to write, give me something where I can write. So out is that object where you can write something. So with this out.println, you actually writing something. Okay, with this out.println, you are actually writing something. So what you have a good response. I mean, a response within which you have some result to show. So this response goes back to the client, and as it is bringing a string, so at the client side, the web browser is smart enough. It opens up an HTML viewer, and you see the result. So that is the entire cycle. Are you happy? I mean, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Your yes sir does not sound very convincing. Are you still in trauma? Or, I mean, it is not that hard at all. I mean,
It was
whatever.
difficult at first, but when you elaborated it, it became easy to understand.
Okay, so see, whatever technology you are using, if you are using Python, if you are using .NET, if you are using PHP, whatever you are using, right? Basic model is same. Where when you are using PHP, you are not writing that servlet, rather you are using a PHP code. When you are using .NET, you are not writing the Java code. That means the servlet portion is changed. Instead of writing a servlet, you are writing some C#. If you are writing Python, instead of, I mean, if you are using Python, then instead of writing the code in Java, that means instead of writing a servlet, you are writing some Python code, right? So, but this request response model is same for all technology. So, if you know this technology once, to grab the other technologies, it is a matter of time. I mean, it could be mastered within 15 days. Okay, is it good enough?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now it sounds better. Okay, Anjan. So now
Yes.
let us request Komolus. Komolus, are you there?
Yeah, I am here.
Okay. So Komolus, can you please show the other method of writing a servlet? You do the same thing, but with the, I mean,
Help of ID.
yes, with the help of ID and with the help of doGet and doPost, then we will try to merge the idea of doGet doPost with the service method. That is our objective.
Yeah. Okay, but the students have to work with me because the problem is, I think I'm facing some problem related to Java. I have downgraded Eclipse, but still, it is not, the project is not being built.
Okay, being a student, you have to watch out what problems sir is facing, because you will also face the same kind of problem someday, right? Now the thing is, see, facing a problem is not that bad thing, right? But we need to overcome that problem. That is the job of an engineer, right? So if you are facing some problem, then Anjan can continue, or should I continue? But my
Okay,
machine
okay.
is so slow.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, sure,
It
sure.
is aging. It is aging, but it is not aging decently. My machine.
I
Okay.
can show them the steps, but I can't run the project. I can show them the steps that how to proceed.
Okay, no.
Okay.
Okay, let Onion.
Yeah.
Onion, can you please use the doGet doPost thing?
Yeah, just a minute.
Okay, I'm closing the
Yeah.
presentation.
See, okay, so my screen is visible now?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so we already have a servlet created. Would it be problem if we just create another one on it?
No. You can have n number of servlets,
N number
Oh,
servers.
but the
okay, sir.
name should not be same.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
If you have actually n number of servers, then you have to just add the mapping in the web.xml file. Okay.
Welcome
Okay.
list, right?
Okay, sir.
Not welcome list.
Not welcome
See,
list.
welcome list is nothing. So please
Welcome
mute.
list is,
Please mute.
yeah, actually this
Yeah, sorry. In the mapping, yes, servlet mapping.
Eternal peace. Canada. Okay, fine. See, welcome list has nothing to do. It just sends the first file, right?
So, yes, sir, sorry, sir. It is the servlet
It is
mapping.
the sublet mapping and the sublet. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Okay, the sir is going to show you the same thing but in a different way. Okay, so Anjan, are you there? Okay, yesterday somebody had a problem at the last. Who is that student? Is it Aniket? Are you that
Yes, sir.
student? Okay,
Yes, sir.
so what you have to do, you please downgrade your Eclipse and downgrade your Java. Things will run.
No, after downgrading the Tomcat, it is working.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Anjan, your mic is muted.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, in earlier classes, like in class 10, we used to perform a thing like the Blue Jay, and
Yeah.
here we are doing it in Eclipse. So, sir, what is the basic difference between the two things?
See, BlueJ is something, is a software which is made on top of Java.
Okay. Sir, but we are doing Java in that particular thing, so are not both the thing equal?
Actually, Eclipse is the enterprise tool. Okay, actually, BlueJ is a basic version, but in Eclipse, Eclipse actually industry also use Eclipse. Eclipse has the many features. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, sir, Eclipse is the industry IDE and Java is some third-party IDE.
No. See,
Java is the language.
Java is a language,
No, sir,
and in your
not Java.
school
BlueJ.
at your higher secondary level, you have used
Sir, Blue
tools
Jay. You
like
mean to say Blue Jay?
BlueJ, right? So the intention is same. That is, we want to run one Java application, but BlueJ only can run the standalone Java, right? In BlueJ, I don't have the option to actually build a website. Okay, but this Eclipse has different version. Eclipse also has a only Java version is there also in case of Eclipse. Okay, Eclipse is a much more developed tool. Okay, BlueJ is only a basic tool to run the Java application, but Eclipse actually Eclipse is actually an enterprise tool. Okay, this tool is used in the industry. In Eclipse, we have multiple options. Okay, there are several options here. So actually, there is we should also learn this option. There are many options. Okay, in this Eclipse. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah. See now, we can send the. So we are basically doing what? We are basically doing sending a request and getting the response from the server. And now sending the request, we can send request in actually two ways. One is get, another one is post. See, by default it is get. Okay, by default it is get. See what is happening here. So by default we are sending the request as a get request. Okay, so what is happening? See, in the URL, I can see everything like num1 is equal to 4, num2 is equal to 6. But is this good? Because there might be some hacker. Okay, they can see whatever the value I am sending. Suppose if I am entering password, okay, then that password might be also seen by a hacker, right? So this thing is very bad, right? So by default, we send the request as a get request, okay? But there is another thing which is called post, okay? So if just follow me, see here, if I write it like this, post, okay? Then just see what is happening. Then just see what is happening. Okay, just go back and refresh one. So let me give this value 6 submit. See, the thing is same, but see, there is no value is passed here, right? right? So can you understand what is the difference between get and post, guys? By seeing
Yes,
the
sir.
URL,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
understood? That
Yes,
is,
sir.
I cannot see whatever the value I am actually sending, right? 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 Now see,
Yes, sir.
for this post, see here. Now see, now see, now I am doing one thing. That if I am a hacker, okay, suppose let me think as a hacker, okay. Now see, actually my mouse right click is not working now. It is hanged, I think. How to see the page source here? Yeah, if I go to the view page source, right? Let's check. No, not page source.
Anjan, are you showing that get and post?
Yes.
Okay, somebody kicked me out. Then I tried to get in, but I couldn't.
Okay.
I have to give the answer about the difference of BlueJ and Java. I'll give the answer later.
Okay. So let me do this inspect. Okay. Then there, let me body is there. Elements. What is the form?
You cannot find the form here.
No. I just want to do this. I also want to check that one thing. I could show them. There's a option. This I could have changed this. It is by changing this values. Na, I can actually do the same thing as get. Okay, that is actually what I am trying to show them. I have used post in the this HTML, but from here I can change one thing so that I can actually break that. Okay, can you get my point, sir?
The,
Achha,
what I presume that right now you are using post, isn't
yes.
it? So if you are using post, you cannot break it.
No, there was an option. Okay.
Yes, sir, there is an option generally. You can change the values from here. There is an option, sir. I can understand.
Okay, sure. ठीक है, sure. So what is my intention is when I change it to post, then you can see that there is no such query string. That is, there is no such values are not posted, right? So this is the difference between get and post. And see here. Here in this add sublet, okay, to only for getting only that is here this service method is actually this service method. Here we have, instead of doing service, so to get this, na, we can also have do post method. I have one do post method here. Okay, do post. Okay, now let's check once more. Once more, stability. থাক আমি ভুলে গেছি, ঠিক আছে। So here to receive the post request, na, instead of this, instead of service, na, we can have this do post method. Okay, do post method. Okay, and so if I run this,
So can you please show the HTML page once more?
Yeah,
Then
sure,
you're
sure,
within the
sure,
method.
sure, sure, sure. Yes, yes.
Method equal to post. And sir, have you changed the XML page?
Yeah, in the HTML page, I have just added this method is equal to post. Okay.
No, in the XML page. XML.
No. It's XML change. XML. There is no change in the XML.
See
Okay.
that by default the method is always get.
Always get.
So it does not matter whether you are writing method equals to get or not. It will always be get. But if you are trying to use post, then you have to mention it explicitly as Anjan has done.
Yes. Now see. না আসলে একটা উপায় ছিল যেটা দিয়ে মানে আমরা দেখাতে পারতাম যে আমি পোস্ট ইউজ করেছি কিন্তু সার্ভিস মেথড দেওয়া আছে কিন্তু আমি অ্যাকচুয়ালি গেটের মতো করে আমি ওটাকে
স্যার আগের পেজটা থেকে ট্রাই করুন, করতে পারবেন।
হ্যাঁ
মানে ওই যে পেজটায় এন্টার দ্য ফার্স্ট নাম্বার।
Anjan, we are running short of time, so there is no time to explain.
Sure. See, yeah, that what I wanted to show. Yeah, Twinkle ঠিক বলছি. Yes. Let me change this as service again. Okay. Service. Okay. Now I have here I have the method post. Okay. Now see. Now we have seen that we cannot see that, right? Now here what I can do. I go to inspect. Okay. Now here I can change the value to get, right? Okay. Now see what will happen. Sorry. Yeah. Now I hit submit. See again. So I can actually hack, right, in this way, right? So I have used their post, but what I am doing, I am going to the page source. That is I can also change that in this way, right? And it is working fine, right? Guys, can you understand what I am showing you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. You are actually explicitly mentioning that. Okay, no, it's not a post, whether it's a
yes. So I can also I can block that in this way. Instead of doing service, I can here I will write this method do post. Okay. Then I cannot do this because do post, if I mention do post, it will only accept the post request. It will not accept the get request. Okay. Clear? I can block that in this way. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, can you get that? Okay. So
yes, sir.
Okay. So let's okay, the same thing is done. Okay. Actually this do get and do post method actually this, so there is similarly there's a do get method for the get request. Okay. Now you can ask me, sir, then why service is actually working? Actually these two methods are called inside the service method. Okay. So just like do post method, there is also do get method. Okay. But then why I am using service? So service is a super method, you can say. From the service method, this do post method and do get method are called. So if I use service, then service has the ability to accept whether it is post, whether it is get. Okay, clear to all or not?
Yes, sir, clear.
Yes.
So I think my task is now done as
yeah. So let me use last 5 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
See what Anjan sir has said. He has said that okay, there are two different models of how you can push the data or information from the client side up to the server side, right? So one method is get, the other method is post. Now, what is the difference between this? See, the basic difference is whenever you are using get method, whatever information or whatever data are being passed, they are just being passed as a string. Okay, so that is viewable to all of us, right? So obviously you cannot expect that somebody will be very happy if he is writing some password and that password is going to the server side visibly. That means just standing beside him or her, I can click to his screen and I can show his or her password. So it is not a very good way to write a project, right? So what you need to do is, in that case, you need to stop this behavior. That means now you can say that no, I'm not ready to push the data. It might be a sensitive data. I'm not ready to push my data as a string. So now you can use the post method. So whenever you are using that post method, what happens? The data or the information that you are trying to push from the client side up to the server side, that are never going to go as a string anymore. So that will go as object. Okay. Hello. Onion, can you please stop the sharing once so that I can show them something? Yeah.
Yes.
So what I said, once you are using get method, they are going as string. Whenever you are using post method, the information are passed as an object. So as something is going as an object, you cannot just peep in. So the things are not visible in that case, right? This is point number one. What is the point number two? The point number two is that whenever you are using get method, I said you can only push the strings, nothing else. But suppose you want to push an image, suppose you want to push a song, suppose you want to push a film, suppose you want to push a file, or you want to push something which is not a string, then what do you have any option left other than using a post? No, you have to use the post, because you cannot use get method there, because get method only allow the string to be used. Okay. And the third point is that whenever you are using a get method, there is a limitation of the size of the data that you can push. I just do not remember the exact size. Kamolesh or Anjan, do you remember that size? I just do not remember it. But obviously there is a fixed limit.
Same here. I can't also. I
Yeah,
can't also.
I have forgotten right now. So but there is a limit. Okay, you cannot exceed that limit. But if if you are having a large data to be sent, even if it's a string, you cannot just use the get method. Okay, most probably that
Sir, it
limitation
is
is
6 KB.
it is limiting, the limiting value is 32,000 something, or I just don't remember. So that is not a very big thing. But obviously, if you have a big data to be passed, even if it's a string, you cannot use get. Right? But whenever you are using a post method, there is no such limitation, because it is not going as a string, it is going as an object. Right? So this is the basic difference between do get, I mean the get method and the post method. So if you are using get method in the form side, obviously you have to call a do get method. If you are using a post method in the form side, obviously a do post method will be called. So if you are using get, do get will be called. If you are using post, do post will be called. Okay, so I think this is enough for today. So tomorrow what we will do, we are going to get inside of this do get and do post, and then we will first half an hour I'll ask Pomolesh, can you please explain them the servlet package anatomy so that they understand what is that do get, what is that do post, what is that service method. I mean, it is ever confusing topic in this Java technology. I mean, those who are very beginner, they get confused with this do get, do post, service, how these methods are coming, which methods are coming from which type. Okay, so this anatomy will be dissected tomorrow, and then we will be using something which is known as, we will be demonstrating in something which is known as request dispatcher. That means how one servlet communicates to other servlet. Okay.
Yeah. So in the tomorrow I will discuss the things. I will start from life cycle of the servlet so that they can understand that what we have explained in the last class, that what is thread and when the memory is being consumed by this process. So how when multiple users requests are being received by the server, how it is being handled. So the things will be discussed, and I will show them that how this service method is linked with do get, do post, this method. Okay.
And then Onion, could you please demonstrate the request dispatcher thing? I mean, the
Okay.
forward method and include methods and all those. And obviously, I'll be there as a commentator and the spectator, right? So take care for tonight, and bye bye. See you tomorrow. Take care, huh?
Okay.
Okay, guys.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good night.